Here we are at Langlois Culinary Crossroads, and we're going to try to learn how to make a New Orleans signature dish, gumbo. I tend to think that gumbo is the ultimate metaphor for New Orleans culture. You know, if America's a melting pot, then New Orleans is gumbo.
A big gumbo.
Excellent. So what would you, if you were describing what gumbo was to just a non-New Orleanian, what would you describe it as?
That's the hardest question to ask. It's heart, it's soul, it's love, it's your grandmother, it's your mama, it's all of that in one big dish, and so it represents you and your family and New Orleans and Louisiana as a whole.
That's fantastic.
All of your gumbos are going to start with a roux, so that's the first step to make it happen.
The essence.
You hear that sizzle?
There's no such thing as one New Orleans culture. It's just sort of what sticks, what proves durable, what works. And gumbo is sort of that. It's things that just develop over time, and if you like it a certain way, you keep making it that way, and if you find better ingredients, then that's what ends up in your mama's cookbook and your own pot.
Now that we have this going, we're going to carefully add our celery and our bell pepper. So now we're gonna add our andouille sausage, it's from my hometown, and add our chicken. And so now what we're gonna do is add our stock. So you have the stock right there. Creole cuisine, originally French, but then we have the influence of the Africans with their okra, the Native Americans with their corn, the Spanish with their peppers, the Germans with their sausages.
For all our Leonard Reed fans in the audience, one could say that no one person knows how to make a gumbo. We're borrowing things from Italian influence with basil, Creole influence. I mean, it requires not just individual different people contributing, but the entire cultural legacies that they exist from. The thought that comes to mind is that it's greater than the sum of its parts. But if we took out one of the parts, one of the things that someone shared, it wouldn't make it any less gumbo. So we've boiled this down a bit, and it smells great. So when do we get to taste it?
Well, you have to graduate.
What do you mean?
You have earned pleats in your toque.
Awesome. My head is large.
So we're going to serve this. We're going to use my favorite tool in the kitchen called the spoodle.
These look fantastic.
So let's get some spoons and get ready to eat.
Lead the way.
All right.
What I think is amazing about shared food, especially, is that it has this potential to build what we call social capital, a valuable relationship with someone else that you can rely on later. Gumbo is the ultimate metaphor for the New Orleans experience, that it's all these different cultures coming together and sharing through the process of exchange. The process of cooking is obviously a parallel to that exchange process because the flavors themselves come together. If I had tasted any of the individual ingredients, I don't think I could have predicted how good this gumbo tastes. I came in here thinking that gumbo was a good metaphor for economic exchange and complex, spontaneous order, and well, I'm confirmed in that conclusion.
You're right.
So what does cooking gumbo have to do with liberty or social science? Well, if you like gumbo, you'll love spontaneous orders. Arguably, they operate on the same principles. It took open-ended experimentation, trial and error, and creativity to come up with gumbo, to contribute to the flavors that stood the test of time. Spontaneous order is a very similar concept. It requires the context of liberty. It requires the open-ended system to get those forms of trial and error that prove successful over time. So if you want to learn about how more aspects of society operate like spontaneous orders and gumbo, be sure to click here and subscribe for more Learn Liberty videos. Or if you want to learn how to get involved and spread these ideas, make society more delicious and durable yourself, click over here and you can get involved.